Hello and welcome everybody to the OB Builders Cup as they get ready to tackle probably one of the most tricky circuits on the schedule here, the Daytona Road Course. Fill in for this week's race in Mexico City. I'm Sheldon Atkins, joining the booth with Taylor Burris, and in the production truck, Austin Derbyshire, as we look at some very strange weather here in the background. How's it going, Taylor?
No, that's normal Florida. One side of the interstate, you could have pouring rain. The other side will be bright and sunny like no business. So that's actually quite normal. So great job with iRacing for getting that handled. But no, it's great to be here in one of my former home tracks at the time before moving out here to Texas. But great facility and, of course, running the NASCAR road course here at the Daytona International.
Yeah, absolutely. And just very, very tricky course that we have here on the schedule. So we take a quick look here at the championship standings. And it looks like we need to do a little bit of a scroll up here. There we go. Patrick Gitter. Oh, a little too much of a scroll up. Hang on. And it appears that we are facing some technical difficulties, but right now Patrick Gitter is leading Justin Levine by a handful of points here in the season standings. And remember, it's these classic Winston Cup Series points standings. But yeah, either way, Taylor, what have you got in store for us here? Because I know with the trickiness of this layout, I'm sure you've been looking hard for that set of keys for this evening.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, we have to talk about this is a new build week for iRacing. So what does that mean? Get used to all the new things when it comes to these next-gen cars. They got a new tire model, a couple of new updates to the car to help with handling, and knowing for a fact how difficult this track is alone for a next-gen car, it's going to be more interesting to see how the handling of these cars are going to be around here. Next thing we got to talk about is don't miss your bus and don't miss the transfer when you try to get off the bus. There's 2 bus stop chicanes that both these drivers have to figure out, and be careful when it comes into racing around the circuit. So be careful where you get into the braking zones. Watch how the curbing over there, and you will have to be careful for the chaos that will ensue. And yep, it's the normal thing when it comes to racing here at Daytona on the road course or the super speedway. Don't die.
That's a good place to leave it off there. 'Cause we saw a handful of really bad incidents last night. But as we sit here, I'm gonna look at the broadcast picks for the evening, and I got to go with the man sitting second on the board right now in qualifying times, at least. I got to go with Paul Hill. Been on a bit of a heater here recently. Car looks pretty good here, and if I remember correctly, he's pretty scrappy here at the road courses. So could very well be the thorn in the side to Sean Conklin. Who you got this evening, Burst?
Well, I'm going with a driver who's going to be starting inside the top 5 as well. It is going to be the driver of the number 27, Roger Pierce, and part of Victory 1.
And sitting in the production booth, another one of the Victory 1 machines here, the Tide Ride this evening, the 07 hot rod of Tommy Gossett. Tommy also trending upward here the last handful of months, and honestly, I think becoming a much more well-rounded driver here on the circuit. So it'll be exciting to see what kind of performance he pulls out this evening.
Waiting on 2 cars left to grid on the track right now. We have a total of 23, which is surprising. We were only, before we first came in here, we were having like 11, 12 cars out here. We're like, oh, let's see how this is. This might now be an interesting little race now with 23 cars out there on the circuit today.
Well, I think everybody took a little bit of inspiration from Denny Hamlin this week, and I think everybody's claiming in the general chat here for the team that they for the league that they need to take a provisional for baby duty or something. You know, road courses, got a good excuse. You tend to pull them out. But
get ready to say who's expecting out of this group of wily drivers in the crew.
I don't think it's much of that, but you know, we always end up low pop on the road courses. Doesn't matter whether it's official or not. But 23 cars here today at a track that honestly these cars don't really belong at is definitely pretty impressive for entry list.
Absolutely, very impressive indeed. We'll see how it all plays out once they get released out onto the circuit. Should be going now, as one driver did not get to make it on time. That is a 48 machine of Tyler Hunter, so he will be starting from the pit road.
Looks like we got ourselves a new pace car this week.
Yep, the BMW M2 machine. Been added on as a new addition for one of the new pace cars added for drivers that they can choose from. Not a bad looking little car going around. Of course, you can drive this car on the iRacing service for free. Yeah,
actually got a couple buddies that are just now getting into the service here this past week that have been no life in the M2s and the Miatas, and getting the same experience that all of us got, you know, about 5, 6, 10 years ago, and we all started out here on the service. So it's good to see that some things are remaining consistent.
The joy of getting out of rookie class.
Is there much joy involved in the process? That is the question.
There never really is.
These guys get ready to work themselves into what makes this layout unique from what we see for the 24 hours races here. That extra chicane added there because 3,000-pound stock cars tacking out as high as they can at Daytona with an unrestricted motor is probably not the best of ideas, but the pace car making the steep descent down pit road as the cars get into the OB Builders restart zone here. Flag in hand, and the green flag is out. Sean Conklin is going to lead him here to the start-finish line with a pretty good launch, getting about a car length over third place Brandon Pasalacqua. Or sorry, Tommy Gossett.
Absolutely. It's going to be a side-by-side for second as they go through a little 3-wide action further back. No cautions should be the case here, so we'll stay clean and green for the most part as they come out of turn 1, heading over to the International Horseshoe for the first time at full pace. A couple of drivers down trying to single file out as we have a battle for third between Roger Pierce and Paul Hill. Pierce is going to be able to take that third spot away as they head through the kink over to the Western Horseshoe.
And so far, so good. The majority of the field making it through the first handful of corners without incident. It's definitely night and day transition compared to what we saw last night at NIS, but the one thing that is remaining consistent, Sean Conklin picking up where he left off, already starting to eke out a 1.5-second gap over Tommy Gossett.
Yeah, they're coming up on one of the most difficult parts of the circuit, the transition of turn number 6. You're coming from a flat corner up to the banking. It's so easy to lose that car, get a little tail happy. The car can whip around you very quickly. We see this time and time again, whether it be in the stock cars and when they used to race here back in the 2020 season, or for any of the IMSA races that are held here at Daytona. So be careful as they head to the Le Mans chicane for the first time, heading down into the braking zone, single file, no pressure whatsoever for anyone inside the top 10. As, oh, big wobble right there, and up and over the 26 goes end over end.
Oh,
That
and
is
what
Paul
a
Hill.
flip. He's still flipping. Oh, shades of Ryan Preece here for the 26 machine of Paul Hill, and that is going to be an early exit for him.
What a, not a great way to kick it off, but let's take a look at the replay here.
Didn't
He
think we
hits
were
the-
going...
Hits the curve right as they come off corner exit. See how
Car
much
is
that car was
bouncing around.
bouncing.
Something was wrong with that machine for it to be bouncing like that over that first curb. No turtles on the first handful of curbing. It's definitely a strange incident. I'd love to see the gyro cam. Can we get... Ah, yes. Nope. Nope, we're just getting on board. Unfortunately, I don't get to feel like a pair of shoes in the washing machine here, but
Right there, yeah, something did
Some-
not look right.
something had a broke on the suspension somewhere in that car because I have never seen them. God, what a ride.
Paul, I hope two things for you, buddy. I hope you are not in a motion rig, and I hope you are not in VR.
Yeah, because that was... Yeah, that might be the reason he pulled
Oh,
off.
trouble
Might have to
in
clean
the
up dinner.
Western
We got one
Horseshoe.
car around.
Tommy
Looks
Gossett.
like Tommy
moves
Gossett.
around.
All right, well, that's two of the race picks that have kind of fallen around here in the first lap. Oh, there goes Chris Vincent around. A little bit of a sympathy slide for Tommy Gossett. And Tommy, right now, kind of in a rough spot, not able to get the car back going, because if he does, odds are he's going to get T-boned by somebody. He has to wait until the entirety of the field goes by, but a smart move by him to keep everybody else safe in the process.
Yep, everyone's able to get on through for the time being. And, yeah, my pick's still out there for now.
For now. Roger, it's not looking good, though, buddy. Oh, and Roger was pretty close here. I wonder if he gave a little bit of a boot to his buddy. No, Tommy just gets in there and probably just a little bit of wheel hop, pulls the back end of that machine around. That's one of the biggest issues these guys are going to be facing. There's absolutely no grip on this track to begin with. And then when you factor that with this new tire that we've had slapped on these cup cars, it's what little bit of grip is there is completely gone. It's back to 2017 ice racing, if you will.
Is. So far, the gap between Sean Conklin and Roger Pierce is about 5 seconds, so we'll be keeping an eye on the battle for second between Roger Pierce and Brandon Pascaluca, who are now in a good little fight here for position. As trouble for Evan C. by the looks of it, as he hits the turtles over there at the final chicane, and he will continue on in the 333.
That's seems to be a trouble spot there for the CFM machines getting through that bus stop.
It's like trouble for Joseph Gulata too. Don't know what happened to him, but he is out of the race.
So picking up an incident here with Alex Coffey. See what happens here. I'm imagining just a little too much curbing. Yep, and that's all it took. Around she goes, and that is a tremendous slide.
Yep, he will also cut the course, so he receives the black flag. He's got to slow that up a little bit, otherwise he will lose and be sent to pit road.
Oh, you're talking about how aggressively out of control these cars are here this week, and you're getting to see that firsthand. As right now we got our eyes craned on Sean Conklin, now up to a 6-second gap, 3 laps into the race, so definitely Sean's race to lose here as Roger Pierce just, trying to tiptoe his way around here without making too many mistakes, hold on to a good position as we see the 33 machine of Chris Vincent around now. See what happens here to the Team Watson racing machine.
Just like I talked about.
He didn't even make it to the transition before that thing came around on him.
One thing also that's pretty interesting is how much you got to be careful with the brakes here at Daytona with these 2 chicanes. I'm watching Justin Levine's car right now, heading into the braking zone of that final chicane. His brakes were glowing bright orange.
Yep. A little bit of the same traffic here going into turn 1, 2. That, it's a good thing that I don't think we have brake fade on here, do we?
I don't think so. But still, just seeing that shows how much you are working that brake.
I'll tell you what, it's a good thing we don't, because probably have a whole rash of rotor failures here with as much brake as these cars are having to put in here. And Justin Levine sitting in the 8th position right now. Being kept honest right now, though, by the 42 machine of Corey Moore, as Corey Moore kind of tiptoes off into the grass there. And
there he
does
goes.
it again.
Able to save it. Continue on.
See, and I'm not entirely sure what it is, because like this is a track that everybody seems to struggle with. About the same level. Is it just difficult to find your braking points here, or?
It really isn't, because there is actually some good markers that you can see all throughout the track. The only one that's a little bit difficult is that final chicane, as far as trying to find that sweet spot to get the braking zone. Same thing with the transitioning heading into turn 6. It's a little hard to see the markers to get yourself set up for that. So, but everywhere else pretty much is a good areas to see the braking zones. And then of course the Western Horseshoe that we saw, just of course Coffee go off a little bit right there, is a little bit difficult, because especially on cold tires, that car likes to get a little bit loose coming out of the kink, and under braking, that car wants to try to get out from underneath you.
Right now sitting in the 6th spot. Looks like we have a pass starting to shake up here, though. Chris Hudson starting to get to the back bumper of Paul Bergoli in the 12 machine.
Good little fight here.
And honestly, a pretty impressive run here for Chris Hudson. Didn't have him pegged as a road course ringer, but sitting up in the top 10 right now. Probably the best performance we've seen out of that machine so far this season.
And Chris putting on some good. Of course, for a lot of these drivers here who are here tonight competing, with a lot of them not here competing because they decided to take the drop week, it's a good point day for some of these drivers if they're able to gain some ground on the competition. So keep an eye on that, see how this works out for them as they head into the Western Horseshoe coming through here. Hudson loses a little bit of time as Bergoli does whatever he can to keep him behind as they head to turn 6.
Hudson doing a good job getting the drive off the corner, though. A little bit of a slide out of the 12 machine of Paul Bergoli. Going to set him back just a smidge. As we watch Bergoli now swing wide through the transfer onto the oval. And here comes Chris Hudson powering it down to the bottom. And Chris Hudson going to take away the spot with ease through ovals 1 and 2 down the back straightaway.
Great drive right there by Chris Hudson as they work down out of NASCAR 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. They will go heading into the Le Mans chicane here under braking. Will Bergoli stay tucked up behind, or will he choose to try to set up a pass? Not close enough to try anything here. Watch the curbing as they work their way through. Paul hits it a little bit too much, but is able to keep under control.
Paul getting up into the grass a little bit. Looks like he's kind of fighting with the handle on the 12 machine right now under braking. Seems like he's having a hard time getting the pedal down to get that car woed up as much as it needs to be into the corner, and that's just opening up the window of opportunity for Chris Hudson to pull away as he's starting to eat into the advantage of the 4th place machine, the 3 car of Luke Christian. And also, I gotta say, Luke Christian probably the best transformation I've seen in a driver in a track combo in 24 hours. Last night had probably the worst run of luck I've ever seen behind the wheel, and here this evening, looking pretty good so far the first couple laps in.
Absolutely, as we ride on board with Luke Christian as he heads into the International Horseshoe. Really good line through here. You want to try to hug that yellow bear or yellow corner right there as much as you can, then work your way off corner exit. Want to try to hit that yellow rumble strip off corner exit. The kink right here, the car likes to get a little bit floaty through here, wants to hold on to set the braking. You want to try to get a little bit higher entry going into the Western Horseshoe here of turn 5, but he gets a good line, tracks out just enough. Turn 6, heading into the transition, right about there where you see those cones is when you want to start braking. Before, you got to be careful with on throttle. Watch how much that car wants to bounce through here, and then up on the banking, it's just flat out right through here. You want to try to see if you can sniff a bit of a toe from the draft of a car ahead of you. No driver in front of him now, so he's not going to be able to make up any major time for the time being as we head down the Daytona Superstretch over towards the Le Mans chicane. You want to start braking just about when you see that light right here. As you do that, drop it down a couple of gears, hit the curbs a little bit. You don't want to go too much, especially right through here, this final section. That's where the curbs are really elevated and can get that car under handling a little bit too much, and you have to be careful with that. And then, of course, back on the power once again. coming out of turn number 4, NASCAR 4. Right there, as you see the Daytona, you want to start braking right about there.
Good clean lap out of the 3 machine of Luke Christian, and good analysis there, Taylor. Because tell you what, I couldn't figure out how to drive a nail here, let alone a car.
It's a fun track overall, and give kudos to NASCAR for during the pandemic back in 2020, where they tried some new things, because this is a fun circuit for the Cup cars, at least from a fan perspective. NASCAR drivers themselves maybe not enjoyed it too much unless you're a Chase Elliott fan. But Luke Christian's out there. He's about a second off his fastest lap of the race right now. He got a little bit of work to do, but he's doing whatever he can in that number 3 machine as he tries to hunt down Roger Pierce about 3 seconds up the road.
As we look at Luke Christian's card here, 4 years on the service, so pretty good performance for him out of just a short stint compared to some of these guys who've been on here for decades. So pretty good running out of him. Harry Potter fan, Limp Bizkit, you know he's definitely celebrating Casey Kane Fridays with the rest of us.
Absolutely.
And of course, I couldn't have guessed it, but he's a Dale Earnhardt fan. I don't know what would have given that away to anybody.
I don't know. I'm going to have to guess that big number 3 right there on the side of his Chevrolet.
I thought that was a Austin Dillon reference. I'm going to get flamed for that one.
You are going to get flamed. Let's take a look at this replay of what happened here to the driver of the number 25 of Greg Carr. Yep, just loops it around right there. Not too much. Able to keep on going. I do got to say, I wonder if Greg Carr's favorite driver is Richard Petty.
Huh. Well, let's find out real quick. I swear if this is one of those ones that didn't fill out his card, I'm gonna flip my desk right here on air.
We will shame Greg Carr if he did not fill out. Ken Schrader.
Ken Schrader. You know what? That's a pick I can. Yeah. Makes sense with the big old 25 on the side of the car, but that is a pick I can definitely respect.
And yet he hates cars, music, and movies.
But he loves Ken Schrader.
He loves Ken Schrader.
Hey, that's all right. If there's one thing,
I think everybody can love Ken Schrader.
If there's one thing to have a respect or an enjoyment of, it's Ken Schrader's racing history.
Absolutely.
That man is a legend.
He is absolutely a legend indeed. He's actually heading up to Big Sky Speedway up in Montana this weekend.
Yes, he is. I take it you've watched Herman Schrader this week as well.
Absolutely.
You got it. Once they get past... look at this. Roger Pierce, the first man mid-race to change teams, going from one sim to Victory 1. So back home where he belongs. To see he got passed by Passalacqua, but Passalacqua kind of messing up the transition here onto the oval.
Great catch, though, to be able to...
Yeah, because that could have been a very costly mistake for the 6 machine. Only going to lose 1 spot and a decent amount of time. Because as much momentum as he lost there, he's basically going to be behind the 8 ball until he gets back into the chicane and gets another opportunity to get back to the loud pedal.
So right now it is a Victory 1, 1-2 for the time being. As they work their way through the Lamar chicane, heading up towards NASCAR 3 and 4. Pascaluca is going to try to see if he can make up some ground to try and hunt Roger Pierce for position. As we have another incident out on track, let's take a look at the replay. As the 71 of Paul Gilmore, I believe, is heading into the International Horseshoe. A little bit of wheel hop. Nope, just misses his braking point, goes a little too wide.
And I'll tell you what. Got the 54 machine of Randy Mullins here. He as well has an incident, and it's the transition. Oh, and he took the cones with him.
Bowling for cones.
You don't get to see them fly through the air on the broadcast there, but I guarantee you he might have one of those stuck underneath one of the rub stops on the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which that's always fun.
It's not.
Yeah, I didn't know that they could get stuck to the car when I came back from my long break from iRacing. Because back in the day, you know, Levine and I, speak of the doubles, we look at them a little further in the back. We used to play hockey and soccer with those things every time we go to Indianapolis, just try to fling them at each other. And I did it under caution while I was leading at Indy, and it got stuck to the nose of the car, and I didn't know until I went to turn 1, and it didn't want to steer, and it made this horrible noise.
Trouble for Alex Coffey again, possibly. Just
Yeah.
oh, airborne.
I mean, at that point, you've already blown through it. You might as well just take the time penalty, but ramping the thing off a turtle curb was definitely not the way you want to do it.
He stuck the landing though.
Oh yeah, nailed it.
Try to do a 360 spin. Got about.
He got himself a penalty there though, because he came through pit road hot.
Jumped the pits, it says.
Did jump the pits, but iRacing just probably gonna give him a nice little 40-second hold for too fast entering, improper entrance, as well as improper exit. So it's gonna be a tough one for him as we look at the 28 machine now of Tim Wortman Jr. Good quiet run for him. Look at Tommy Gossett though, rolling back up into the top 10 after the self spin earlier that put him at the tail end of the lead lap. He's trying to clean it up there in the tide ride, huh?
He's certainly trying to, indeed, as he tries to get a good run to catch back up to Tim Wortman Jr. Wortman Jr., of course, running the Great Ghost Machine colors. With the ride tide right there behind him, trying to catch back up Tommy Gossett.
I feel like Wortman's ran the Gray Ghost colors as long as I've seen his name here on the service.
Oh, big lockup right there. And this will allow Tommy Gossett to make a run for it. He'll go to the inside, make the pass complete.
And Wortman right there, showing a little bit of class. Knew that Tommy was coming, and he was getting to him pretty quick. Opted to not stay in the way and run the risk of slowing them both down, or getting himself into a little bit of a skirmish. And rolls right out of the way. Pretty respectful.
Very respectful indeed, as Paul Bergoli got back around Chris Hudson. Hudson got a little bit too wide in the Western Horseshoe, going into the grass a little bit. That allowed Bergoli to pick back up that 5th position.
Well, with 10 laps on the board here, and Sean Coughlin sailing away to what he's hoping will be another fairly simple win. We're going to send it off to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of the racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series, live from virtual Daytona road course. Not a whole lot has really happened in the couple minutes that we've been away, but thing looking pretty good right now, though, for Sean Conklin, as he's up to an 18-second advantage over his teammate Roger Pierce. Brandon Paslock was sitting back a second off of the back bumper of the 27 machine, and he's leading Paul Bergoli and Chris Hudson, who are separated by a significant margin from each other. We did have the first slide there out of the 3 machine of Luke Christian. Was able to gather it back up, though. Big bobble into turn 1, so he's still fighting with a very ill-handling race car here. But doing his best to keep the power down and keep it rolling forward. He's just behind Chris Hudson here in 6th place.
Yeah, a good little battle about to start forming. Chris Hudson trying everything he can to hold back the number 3 machine of Luke Christian. 2 numbers that held significance of 7. As, that was more trouble there for Alex Coffey. What happened here? Gets loose off the Western Horseshoe. And what does he decide to do next with that precision machine?
Oh, I don't think he decided to do that, but a Tokyo Drift right into the tire pack, and that'll be pretty much a race ender for him, because I guarantee you that busted a toe link.
It absolutely did, and I saw when we went to go look at Alex Coffey, you saw that rear tire just shaking a little bit, like, yep, that's not what it's supposed to be like.
No. Look here at the 10 machine, Sean Conklin, off to a blistering pace right now, ignoring our producer.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the background, as he's singing us the Tokyo Drift theme song at full volume. And it's still going, guys.
It's still gonna
It's amazing.
go. It's amazing what our producer can do, multitasking.
I don't get it. It takes all my brain power to just look at a screen and talk, and this guy's over here switching cameras, telling us things that we need to look out for, and singing probably one of the most annoying theme songs from a movie in history. What a time to be alive. Nope, now he's arguing with me, but now we're looking at Justin Levine. Sitting here in 8th place right now in the 19 Mac Tools machine. And his course of attack this afternoon is just survival. The lone wolf for once. It's Luke Christian goes around again, this time in the back straightaway bus stop. Up against the tire pack, trying to get the car back going here. Going to lose a whole lot of time as the 50 machine of Schaffner gets past him here. And here comes Justin Levine rimming around the outside, and he's going to get past too, but a huge loss there for Christian as he falls back from 6th to 8th.
Take a look here and take another look at the situation for Luke Christian, who is on such a good run. Enters into the Lamar chicane, and boom, around that curbing goes. And for the Advanced Sim Racing machine, thankfully he doesn't make any more contact with that tire barrier.
Yeah, good job for him to be quick at his reflexes there to keep the thing off of the wall, because that could have been a day ender for him. And he's definitely been struggling with the handle on this machine. He was struggling with it all night last night in NIS, and it just looks like those demons have fallen him over here. It looked like it was going to be a little bit better from up here in the booth a handful of laps ago, but definitely fading fast. But he's still putting the pressure back to the rear bumper of the 19 machine of Justin Levine here as we work through the horseshoe. Also looking a little bit further up, Pasalacqua finding himself back to the rear bumper of the 27 of Roger Pierce. See Pasalacqua trying to pull a little bit of slipstream off of the 27 machine through ovals 1 and 2 down the backstretch now. see right now, the 6 machines, he's doing everything that he can to try and shorten up the diameter of the racetrack when we're on the high banked corners. Saw Pierce kind of chased up towards the wall a little bit. Passalacqua opting to kind of treat it more like a NASCAR qualifying lap, keep it glued down to the paint, and shorten that distance through geometry itself. Into the final bus stop now, down the front straightaway to the start-finish line. Brandon stringing together a pretty good run here this evening.
He really is. Currently sitting in third as one car right there goes way wide.
That's 33 machine of Vincent.
That was. As he now gives conceding way to let the leaders by. As we watch and ride on board with Pascaluca. Now back to watching him try to catch back up to Roger Pierce. They are 20 seconds behind Sean Conklin. As pit stops are happening, here comes the 3 of Luke Christian.
Yeah, Luke Christian bringing down pit road. Not sure what the strategy is here right now. He was definitely struggling with the handle on the 3 machine. Kind of caught the curbs a little rough through the last chicane. But it looks like he's going to go for 4 tires, a little bit of Sunoco fuel. Hopefully enough to get him here to the finish of the race as we look back at Sean Conklin now in the 10 machine with such a massive lead. I mean, it's almost painful to watch for the rest of these guys, ain't it, Taylor?
It is. It's almost like, why are we doing this and continuing to log laps? But for some of them, it's good points nights for them, as currently we have 14 cars on the lead lap, 16 out on the track right now. As we keep an eye on this battle between Roger Pierce and Brandon Pascaluca. If we didn't have Sean Conklin, this would be a great fight for the race lead.
Oh, absolutely. Heck, a great fight for the top 3 because if you look there just a little bit out of camera shot, I mean, heck, these two get racing, and then Paul Bergola could find himself in the mix too. Great run out of the 12 machine, which kind of expected. He's always pretty scrappy here on the road courses. But Passalacqua is gradually closing in on that gap that the 27 of Roger Pierce had built on him. Every lap just getting a little bit closer in the mirror. I can't help but to think, too, you know, after all the things I've seen out of Passalacqua, when I got to cover him in ISCA and, you know, some of the other series that I've seen him running throughout the past year and a half, I have a feeling that these changes with the tire model, it being more centric on tire wear, that 6 car is one you're going to see with a little bit more of a forward trajectory, because I feel like that guy just does the best out of, you know, he's one of the best out of getting the most out of the equipment on the long runs.
Absolutely, and he's really showcasing that here tonight as we watch on, and I'm keeping an eye on the weather a little bit. I know we don't have rain tires for the stock cars here for the moment, but as we see cloud cover really starting to come into play here, and it's going to be a mostly cloudy for the rest of this race by the looks of it.
Tell you what, I wish it would rain. It'd be nice.
I mean, if we could get rain tires for these stock cars here pretty soon, that would be a game changer.
Honestly surprised we don't have them already.
I agree.
As many road courses that we run throughout the season.
Or not only that, but just the short tracks too, if you think about it.
The short tracks, I understand though. That's a the short tracks I can understand though. That's a whole different ballpark all itself.
But we have done it. We've done it at North Wilkesboro, we've done it at Martinsville, and we've done it at Richmond. So
yeah, but you know, a couple of small outliers here and there. I don't expect iRacing to, you know, instantly want to pick up the scraps on that, but
it would be fun.
Tell you what, I would love to see it for the road courses at least here in the not so distant future.
A couple of new cars getting for this current build, a couple of updates for rain tires, the 2 Super Formulas, Skip Barber car, as well as also the Lotus 79 as the newest additions for rain weather tires from this current build.
I'll tell you one thing, iRacing is definitely laughing their way to the bank right now too, because the amount of Gen 4 cars that have been sold.
The amount of Gen 4 content that's been going on right now since it's been released. I mean, I got to give a big shout out to someone on Twitter right now, Anthony Burrows. If you have not seen his Twitter feed here recently, or X feed, with him making qualifying videos from past races during the 2003 to 2005 era is incredible, with the speed commentary in the background as he runs that lap around the selected track is amazing.
Yeah, that has been a great hit in the nostalgia feels here. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. I almost got a little teary-eyed the other night when they brought the Gen 4s to the 5 to Go series at Daytona. I figured I'd pull it out there. I saw a couple things here or there because we all know somebody somewhere. And I got the opportunity of actually driving one of those in the pack. And, dude, I'll tell you what, it felt like I was 7 years old sitting on the couch pulling for Gordon to go out there and beat Dale Jr.'s butt at any given Daytona or Talladega week. It's unpopular in opinion as that is. That's where I was in 2003.
It's amazing now. If you think about it, we now have the entire modern era of NASCAR racing all in one service right now. We have the Gen 3 cars from the 1980s and early 90s. We have the car that everyone would help bring NASCAR to the forefront, the Gen 4 car from the late 90s to mid 2000s. We have the car of tomorrow, which I know some people are hit or miss on. Yes, it doesn't have the wing anymore, as our producer, like, not really anymore. We have the Gen 6 car, which was a favorite for certain aspects of racing, and we have the next gen car, the Gen 7 car. And I gotta say, it's pretty incredible that we have all this generation of racing.
Yeah, no, it is definitely awesome. We even, unfortunately, have that 550 horsepower piece of crap that we ran for a couple years.
Yep.
Surprisingly, but hey, if you drive if you like the Ford Fusion and the Chevy SS, man, they still got those with the 750 horsepower engine and absolutely no downforce.
Well, you know what? Something else to think about, possibly to talk about for 2026. Ram. Sorry, gotta say that right. Ram coming into the NASCAR Truck Series in 26. Who's not to say we'll see that added on, and the talk of NASCAR adding more horsepower to these next gen cars.
Yeah. And we've also got the Gen 4 stuff doesn't necessarily stop either, because I don't know if you remember when the 87s came out. Everybody was sad it was just the Chevy and the Ford. And then next thing you knew, we had they went and scanned one of Bobby Allison's Regals, and then they went and scanned Richard Petty's Grand Prix, and both of those are there. And I can tell you firsthand, there's a few of those Dodge Intrepids sitting around in showrooms, and with Ram and Stellantis coming back to NASCAR, I don't think it'd be too hard for them to, talk about getting a Dodge Intrepid put in here.
Well, not only that, but as we take a look at this, here's the Silver Bullet coming into play as he comes in through the final chicane. What happened here? Hits the curving a little too much, and around the Silver Bullet goes, able to keep it somewhat curved and then straighten back out. But yeah, Intrepid or Pontiac Grand Prix would be nice to see back added on to the service.
Now the Pontiac's going to be a harder one to get the hands on, though. I think that one's going to be difficult because I don't know if you remember, but they went to that the common template in 2003 and completely changed the front fascia and rear clip of the Pontiac. And I feel since they only ran that for 1 year, I know that the two teams that were remaining during that era with MB2 and PPI both yanked everything off, threw it in the dumpster, and put Chevy clips on it the next season.
Yep,
so I think that's going to be really hard to find, especially a plate body.
It would be.
But we can dream. And Darby's favorite year is 2004, which I agree, that was a great season of Cup racing.
For me, I had to say 2007. Can't go wrong with 2007 Cup season.
All-time favorite, though, is 02. That was a great year, start to finish. And had the best-looking Monte Carlo since the 87, in my opinion.
I have to agree. Of course, I would be a little bit giddy if we did see them put the Chevy Lumina back in.
I want it so bad. That and the mid-90s, the early 90s Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, yep.
Oh, that was a gorgeous car.
We want to hear from you, the fans. Which stock cars would you like to see added on? And I know we're going to probably hear some from the 1970s and 60s added on here. Yes, Darby, we would love to hear what you want to have added on. That
He
is
wants
a fun.
He wants the NASCAR Pinty Series Dodge Challenger.
So we all know that today they had a Q&A session for the NASCAR 25 game that came out, as we're still keeping an eye on all the action right now, but everyone's kind of spaced out for the most part. There is still that battle for second, and then there's a battle for fifth that we'll keep an eye on. But they did talk about some special interest when it comes to DLCs for future content for the NASCAR 25 and 26 games that are coming out. As we take a look at the replay, as Pascaluca, does he hit the curb?
Oh, he's gonna.
Nope, just makes up a good pass.
And best of luck. We're gonna pass a Pierce here on the front straightaway. And this battle has been looming for a handful of laps. Roger Pierce not able to pull heads or tails over the 6 machine, and this is just, I think this is what we're going to see more of throughout this season with that 6 Paradigm machine, where Brandon's just really good at keeping those Goodyear Eagles beneath him. And, you know, it's just such a great tire saver.
Really is. It really is.
See Chris Vincent slow up here, just to let these guys get out of the way. He maybe takes a little bit of a slide through turn 1, and we expect a little bit of wheel hop in the back end, shattering out from under him. Oh, yes, we are. And you saw the front rotor's red, but what we saw there too was the back rotor's red, so maybe a little too much rearward bias for the 33 machine. What about that Q&A, Taylor?
So we got a couple of things. So the game is set to be released in either late September, early October. And so they want to make sure that the game is right before releasing, which kudos to iRacing for doing that. Here is the total number of drivers that will be in the game. 46 NASCAR Cup drivers, 42 NASCAR Xfinity drivers, 43 truck drivers, and get this, 56 ARCA drivers. It will be released on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series. No cross-platform, but there is a priority for future games. They will have paint scheme DLCs and over 400 paint schemes including DLCs. They have a gold edition or the ability to purchase individual paint packs. A paint booth is similar to the past but has made improvements. We'll have our own paint booth to create custom paints. No regional series yet, but adding that as a long-term plan for future games. So we will possibly get to see the NASCAR Pinty Series, the NASCAR Euro Series, the NASCAR Brazil Series, and the NASCAR Mexico Series added on in the future.
This is going to be I mean, it's going to be awesome with iRacing having. Look at the backlog of content that iRacing has. I mean, you can race anything on here from, as we mentioned earlier. I mean, if they wanted to add a DLC for, you know, the 87s and stuff like that,
Yep.
so you can make a championship out of that. All they have to do is go license drivers and sponsors from back then. Like, it's immense the things that they can do and the scope that they have.
Here's something right here. RAM will be in NASCAR 26, but they may add them in an update for NASCAR 25. So they know the history of NASCAR games and want to over-deliver, not just an iRacing on console. Physics are not the same as iRacing. Damage is similar, but has a different option such as visual only. Full wheel support, all of the tracks, car models, assets, etc. are directly from iRacing. Several real-life spotters are in it, which we know TJ Majors and a couple of others through some of the development diaries that they've showcased shows that. 6 base difficulty level options with the ability to change many options such as field skill spread. No legacy drivers for legal reasons, so we won't have Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, any of those drivers in the game.
Honestly speaking, from my level of weirdness, I've never really liked the legacy drivers in them myself.
Yeah,
it just feels so weird. You know, you're driving 2006 and then, you know, 2006 Cup season, you know, Cale Yarborough's out there putting around.
Exactly.
It just, feels weird. It's like having the fantasy, the fantasy drivers. I never was really super big on seeing triple digit cars. It's just a level of OCD that I have.
And get this, they have a 10-year plan. They want their games to become the Madden of NASCAR.
I can tell you. iRacing's definitely iRacing, and 704 is what they go by now, right?
No,
Or is it Monster?
It's Monster Games now.
Okay, it's just Monster. So they've gone kind of back in the naming scheme of things. But the two of them, with the passion that they've had for the sport since the 90s, we're in good hands.
Yes, we are. The screen Conklin is now coming down on pit road, but no surprise, he has a 25-second advantage for the time being. Screenshots, drivers and track rosters are coming in next month as Luke Christian's around.
And a good quick save.
He did. Good job.
He's getting real good at locking the brakes and stabbing the gas to get the thing going back in the right direction.
Absolutely. As pit stops are happening at the halfway point of today's race. Let's see if Pascaluca or Pierce comes down pit road. Roger Pierce does come down pit road. Pascaluca is going to stay out for at least another lap. The career mode, which we kind of already know about, is going to be starting your team up from the ARCA series. You'll have a PR agent to help you make A/B choices. And also there will be a lot of cut scenes and heavy immersions. It's going to be more of a driver's perspective, not a broadcast perspective. So no TV commentary, no driver transfers.
Look, I know we hate comparing ourselves to them, but I can't help but to feel that this is heavily inspired by what Codemasters delivered with the F1 games.
It is. That's what they are trying to make it.
And I'm so glad. I am so glad, because not an F1 fan, but man, I love to pick up those F1 games and play them for a bit, because the scope and the immersion of those games is something that can't be explained or found really anywhere else in the racing gaming industry.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, of course, for a multiplayer, full fields on all series, private lobbies, and AI available for those multiplayer rounds as well.
I can absolutely promise you, Taylor, once the game drops in September, I might take a quick hiatus from iRacing for a couple weeks, because I'm gonna get lost in career mode. I can promise you.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the same boat too. I'm actually considering that, as well as another racing game coming out called Project Motor Racings. So those are kind of like the two games I'm looking at, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have fun with those.
And that's the remnants of it's the remnants of Slightly Mad Studios Project Cars Racing.
It is, and it's phenomenal with some of the cars and tracks they're coming out with.
Yeah, they're taking a more unique approach too. I looked at the cars that they've, my buddy Eli was showing me all the cars that are on the list for that game, and it's the cars that you wouldn't think about from Gran Turismo back in the day. It's kind of a cool approach instead of going for what everybody has, kind of creating their own unique niche. As we see the sixth machine of Brandon Passalacqua now diving it down pit road, second place on the board at the moment. Roger Pierce got a little bit of an undercut on him, so it's going to be interesting to see the time transference between these two. As you see Pierce now entering the front straightaway, and Pierce going to get a very substantial gap here over Passalacqua down into turn one.
It's
that car just getting ready to leave pit road is the sixth machine of Brandon Passalacqua. So yeah, good gains for Roger Pierce here.
Big time gain, and that will give him about a 3-second advantage over Pascaluca. So Brandon's going to have a little bit of work to do as Tommy Gossett's on pit road, servicing his tires and fuel to continue on racing.
Levine also on pit road in the 19 Mech Tools Camry. Gossett going to get the edge off of pit road here and try to pull away from Justin. I can't even get out of pit road this week. That's how much they've changed the tires. I hit that wall like 3 times trying to practice here.
Trying to see, Justin Levine's catching up to Tommy Gossett right there, as you see on the screen. As he's trying to make a run for position for the top 7 at the moment. Currently 24 laps complete. We are down to 20 laps left to go in this race.
Well, with 24 laps on the board, Sean Conklin stinking up the show with a 33-second advantage. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back to bring you more of the racing action here on the grid.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello and welcome back to the OB Builders Cup Series here from Daytona International. I'm Sheldon Atkins, joined in the booth by Taylor Burris and Austin Derbyshire down the production truck. 26 laps on the board. Sean Conklin running away from it, but a little bit of an incident for your second place driver, or at least the guy that was chasing down second place. Brandon Pasalacqua has a little bit of struggles here, getting through the back straightaway bus stop. Gets over, grabs a little bit of grass here. Grabs a little more grass and, well, loses his whatever rhymes with grass as, noses the thing into the backstretch fence and loses a whole bunch of time here just trying to get the machine into gear now and make sure he's free to get back onto the surface. But rough break for probably one of the harder chargers of the race.
He's still out there running in P4 right now, but he's about to fall into the clutches of Paul Brigoli as he will pull down pit road here this time by. So
somehow taking that,
go ahead.
Somehow taking up that torn up Chevrolet and making it roll pretty well. See him pulling away from Paul Brigoli. Now we see have an issue with the 71 machine here through the bus stop.
It's the curbs. Curbs are not anybody's friends here today.
I think that thing was around before he got to the curbs. You see Chris Vinson also having issues with the final chicane here on the front stretch. You know, we've reached that point in the race, Taylor, that we get every time we come to these road courses. We're over halfway through it. Everybody's kind of just dissociated into a lull here because everybody's separated by multiple seconds. And people just start kind of missing their marks because you kind of just lose focus halfway through.
You kind of do, and that's why you have to be so focused and make sure you hit your marks lap after lap, because it is so critical that you just get yourself in a rhythm and keep that rhythm up, because one bad mistake, one moment where you think outside of what you need to do, and you'll end up in the grass or in the barriers.
It's so easy to do because, I mean, us oval racers, we all have ADHD at some point, to some regard. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Like the reason why we pick O was because you just have the instant stream of action and dopamine thrown at you for making passes and racing people. And you kind of get to these road courses where it's more of a big picture, long distance kind of scenario where it's not as much action. It's just you versus the racetrack. But sometimes you just kind of fall into autopilot doing it. Look at the AT machine of Carr here. Good run for him, sitting right outside of the top 10, sitting in 11th.
Trying to keep us seeing what we got going on out on the track. Luke Christian, Paul Bergoli are about to have a battle for position. They're about separated by about 1.5 seconds.
Tell you what, Lou's biggest battle this entire evening has been himself versus that throttle pedal, because that 3 car has been awful loose coming out of every one of these corners. But doing a great job keeping the confidence, keeping the foot in that machine to keep it, at least in competitive spots. As you see him sitting in 6th spot right behind Paul Bergoli.
Luke Christian's trying to make a big run here on Bergoli as he tries to send it in through the International Horseshoe, and so far not able to make it up. He's right there making up the time, but just Bergoli's able to get those better runs off corner exit here, while Christian's able to get the time gain on corner entry. As we watch right here, look how much time. Oh, big lockup right here for Luke Christian's. Just as I say that, little commentator's curse, as he goes a little bit too wide, loses the control of the car, loses a couple of more tenths on Paul Bergoli right there.
He's doing a good job. Still struggling with the handle, but he's keeping his foot in it nonetheless. Just a little bit further back in the pack, 25 machine. And a big slide there. Almost went to a spin, but was able to lock the machine down and keep it going in the right direction. And Paul Bergoli likes nothing. Doesn't hate anything either. Man of many words in the 12 machine. Up from 7th place though, currently sitting in 5th. The high of 4th on the evening. Let's look now at Alexander Carr, up from 20th place to 11th. 9 spots, may not sound like much most weeks, but that's something here at Daytona. As we see, it looks like he has more of an issue with turn 1 here. A little heavy lockup, a little bit of a slide, keeps it going though.
Big save.
Hey, what I can't brag enough on the run that Chris Hudson has had this evening. Sitting in 3rd place. I mean, we never really get the opportunity to talk about this driver. Most weeks feels like he kind of has a tendency of getting caught up into someone else's mess. But tonight, man, just running good, putting together good lap time. Started 9th, worked his way up to 3rd. And he's just been kind of sitting here. Now he's got Passalak was slowly creeping in behind him, because Passalak was on the recovery tour right now after his incident through the bus stop chicane. But Chris doing a really good job just keeping that car, not making any mistakes. If you look at his sheet here, definitely looks like he'd be pretty fun at a party. Favorite band, Architects. Pretty good group. Explains the long hair. Alex Bowman fan, Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out architects and trying to figure out what the music is down there at the bottom. But for 25 years sim racing, pretty good deal for him for the Raleigh, North Carolina native.
Raleigh, North Carolina. That's actually where my family initially comes out of.
Oh, I'll be darned. Mine's Greensboro.
Raleigh and Winston-Salem.
Can't go
Got a lot
wrong
of
with those
family.
areas.
Got a lot of family from up there. My great grandmother was actually born and raised. She said about 5-10 minutes up the road from Bowman Gray. Look now at the 6 machine. Paslock was sitting there in 4th in his OB Builders Chevrolet. Tell you what, this guy he has a knack for finding the pace here at these road courses.
He certainly does, and he's just putting on some incredible pace right here as he continues to do so and work his way through as we ride on board with Pascaluca, coming out of turn number 6 and still setting some consistent lap times down. He's actually about a second faster than either Chris Hudson or Roger Pierce. So if he's able to find his way to get back up, he may have a shot of going for a podium finish.
He basically said, you know what, who the hell needs a front splitter, and did his best attempt to yank it off on the back straightaway, and is still somehow finding speed, so. A little difficult to see that there is a little bit of damage on that 6 machine here with the matte black livery, but promise you it's there. You don't hit the wall like that at Daytona without tearing something up.
Absolutely, as we keep an eye and watch on. Pascaluca heads into the second bus stop chicane, and
Hudson's on
he
pit
is
road.
about. Oh, here comes Chris Hudson on the pit road, like you said.
Late call here for the 43 machine, but I guess just wanting to come down and get those 4 tires. Maybe, can't remember if he did pit on that first stint. 15 laps. So maybe a little bit of mistake with the fueling on the 43 machine. Lou Christian also diving the 3 machine down to get 4 fresh tires and maybe a splash of Sunoco fuel to make it to the end here. Lou, not necessarily surprising me too much because we've seen how much he's been fighting behind the wheel of that machine, but look who's coming to put these guys a lap down. Sean Conklin in the 10 machine, way out in front of the pack. 45 seconds over his teammate in 2nd place right now.
And he has lapped up to 9th place, so 9 cars on the lead lap still.
Come on, Ken, you gotta start nerfing his setups or something, man, because he's putting a hurting on these guys. You gotta give us something exciting up here in the booth. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually just an absolute good old-fashioned butt whooping.
No, I said it last night. It was a complete ass whooping, and it's continuing this evening too here from Daytona. Tell you what, it'll be interesting to see how next week works out because we're going to the most unique track on the NASCAR schedule as far as ovals go.
Yes, indeed we are. We're going to a track that's not even an oval.
Not even. It's it's not even its own track. It's 3 unique tracks shoved into a blender and stuck whichever way they could make it fit. And I'll tell you what, man, it's one of my favorite places to go, one of my favorite places to drive. I don't know about you.
As we head to Pocono Mountains for some fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to go take a look at all the beautiful woodlands in the Poconos that iRacing has been so joyous to give us at the massive expense of our frames per second. But hey, you know what? I got a new GPU just for the occasion.
Can we possibly see if we can find heart-shaped hot tubs that are famous there in the Pocono Mountains.
No. Boris, there's a lot of things I want to do with you when we're up here in the booth. Go to a heart-shaped hot tub. That is not on that list, brother.
I mean, I
We're
think
not
it would be
looking for
fun.
that. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Fine. Then just give me a toaster and we'll call it even.
Oh, God, what are you, a Blaney fan?
No.
You been calling it a DBC here recently?
No, I have not. Thank goodness.
So we found out that Taylor Burris has been shopping at Toaster Bath and Beyond this week.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to getting to a track that I can actually do what I do best at. I'll be running A Open and NIS all week next week to varying levels of success, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. At least I don't identify as certain fan favorite drivers, though.
Oh, who are you calling out?
No, I was going to say a certain driver of the number 9 Napa.
Oh, we got beef with Generation 2 of Redneck Jesus?
Absolutely.
What's wrong with him?
There's nothing wrong with him. It's his fans.
See, I have the misfortune of I became a Kyle Larson fan in 2013. And I was a diehard fan all the way through the slump. And everybody said, he was a choke artist. Now half of the fan base says he's the best thing to ever exist behind the wheel of a race car. And they're annoying. And then you got the other half of the fan base that, just calls him out every time he does something stupid.
They can't say he's the best thing since sliced bread. That's the current defending champion's nickname, pretty much.
If we're podcasting, man, it's about to get deep. We're talking
It's about to get real deep with 10 laps to go. Because looking through the field, the closest battle is about 2.2 seconds, the gap between Bergoli and Tommy Gossi.
Yeah, 10 laps to go, and there was only 10 laps that last year's Cup Series champion was even remotely relevant.
Exactly. And it was the last race of the season. See, that's my biggest thing with the playoffs, and I hope they consider changing it a little bit, like certain drivers are wanting to have happen, where it is a 3-race. Of course, for me personally, it would be nice just to have the points championship as normal, no playoff indeed.
Oh yeah, what the OB Voters Cup Series has here is perfect. Just go back to 2003, man. Send us in a time machine, shoot us back there.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same points per se. It can still be the same points. 43 points to the winner, and then give a bonus point for leading a lap and a bonus point for leading the most laps. I mean, yeah, you might have a season or two where the driver who can wrap up the championship with 2 or 3 races left to go, but let's be honest, that's been happening for years in other forms of motorsports in the past decade since this playoff format's been made.
If you want to go with an action-packed, force the narrative and everybody close together, I don't think they did any better than they did with 2004.
Or 2000.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the original chase was incredible for what it was. It made it a lot more exciting.
I agree. It doesn't need to be 16 drivers. Give us the top best 10 drivers, 10 races, whoever comes out with the best points after 10 races. Pretty good deal.
And hell, I'll even lean in with the wild card thing. Whoever won the most races that's not in the playoffs, just throw them as an 11th spot. Yeah, go for it. Whatever on that regard. But, them changing it all because, one guy won 5 championships in a row. I mean, isn't that the goal?
Yeah,
everybody in the garage is racing. Like, you're supposed to go out there and try to win as much as you can, as often as you can, and use the format to your benefit, which is what we're seeing now with the current format with the Penske cars. They just show up at the end of the year. They know that they only need to be good
for one race.
Necessarily 4 races out of the year.
The race to get into the playoffs, the race, and then a race pretty much from the conclusion of each round of the playoffs, and then the final race.
Exactly. That's all they need. And you know what? Roger Penske's pretty scrappy, and he's got some smart people up there in that crew, and they do what they're supposed to do, and it worked 2 years in a row.
3 years in a row.
Yeah, you're right. But I do think it's time to change it because the novelty wore off somewhere, in my opinion, around 2018, 2019. And Darby says they don't recognize Logano championships in his household.
Yep.
So him and Karen are very against the current format. But hey, look at that. We got 10 laps to go. Sean Conklin with a 50-second advantage over Roger Pierce now.
Can he break a minute?
Oh, he's going. Tommy Gossett, though, making a pass now, moving himself up to 4th over Paul Bergoli. Remember, this car was backwards in front of the field. About 3 laps into the race, fell all the way to the tail end of the lead lap. And the Tide Ride cleaning up when it matters the most here in the closing stages.
Absolutely, and it is going to start pulling away here. He's got a lot of work, though, to do to try to catch up to Brandon Pascaluca. About 9 seconds separates him as we have a replay to take a look at.
Here we are all the way back in time, and this is the incident that Tommy has done an excellent job willing to recover from. It just comes right here into the horseshoe. Oh, wait. Nope. That's not it. Oh, no. Darby messed up. Our fearless leader has made a mistake.
Trouble in the production booth.
I do have to say, though, man, and I messaged him about this before the race, and, you know, I guess he's just too cool to respond back or anything like that, but I gotta say, this is probably the coolest looking paint scheme that I've seen Tommy bring to the track, and, I mean, it feels like he changes his paint scheme about as often as I change underwear, which is weekly at best. But I need to switch to Tide, man. That's what the deal is.
I mean, apparently, Tide, if you need to look for some new people to partner with, reach out to Sheldon Atkins.
No, it's you see, it's the fact that Tide keeps it so clean for so long. That's why I ain't got to worry about it. Definitely a...
Just don't add bleach.
You're killing me. So you got any numbers for a good company to call about a toaster? Their burst?
No, I haven't been
able to
able.
recommend.
No brands I can recommend pretty much. I mean, the Walmart brand seems to do the trick pretty much.
Okay. Got it.
Great,
So,
great value brand.
Postmates. Got it. Darby says if you really want to do the reach the desired effect, Temu is the way to go. I don't think he's wrong on that. I think you could probably skip the whole bath part using the Temu toaster.
Yeah, just hold it and plug it in.
We've been so professional tonight. I'm so sorry, guys. But Sean Conklin
Picked up another second.
Yep,
2
another
seconds.
second over Roger Pierce. Pascaluca. I mean, look, the third place car, and he's been running scorcher laps from the drop of the flag. 1 minute and 8 seconds behind your race leader. And he ain't really closing.
Nope, he is not.
I'll tell you what, man. Sean Conklin, that's somebody that they're the cream of the crop now. And as young as that kid is, I am not only just impressed because when I was that age, man, you know, I could barely keep a car on the track in Gran Turismo when we left Daytona and Indianapolis. I can't imagine where he's going to be going, you know, 5, 6, 10 years from now.
Oh, trouble for Tommy Gossett.
Tommy.
Commentator's curse kicks into play.
Well, you know what? He's only back to 5th, knock on wood. It's not over yet. 6 seconds behind Paul Bergoli. Now, that might be over, but see what happened. I mean, I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be a little bit of wheel chatter here. Is it what I was thinking? No, it's the turtle curbs.
Turtle shells strike again. See, we get our own version of Mario Kart here.
I think it might have been a banana peel, honestly.
True. Another car has taken it behind the wall, down to 14 cars left on the track. A total of still 9 cars on the lead lap as John Binder takes it behind the wall. As we watch Chris Hudson in 6th position.
We got a pretty large crop of DNFs here this evening. A lot of big names, too, in the series. A lot of your heavy hitters. Evan Say had to go home early. Paul Hill as well. Joseph Gulata, Patrick Gitter. Yeah, those are 5 cars right there that were removed from the race pretty early on into the procession that we typically cover week in and week out as being potential favorites to win. So a little bit of a points hole that these guys are going to climb out of here. As we look at the conch, putting together a incredible performance here. Getting ready to lap 9th place, Josh Schaffner.
Look how much speed he's able to carry through the Le Mans chicane right here. Just gets a good run through here. The car is perfectly stable over the curbs right there and just gets a great run off corner exit. And he is going to make that run to the inside of Schaffner to put him a lap down. Not close enough to try anything here. Let's see what he does into this bus stop. Gets right on the back bumper.
And I'll tell you what, if you're Schaffner, that's a jump scare in your mirror.
That is
a little bit of a wiggle. A little bit of a wiggle, just about had the thing completely sideways coming out of the final corner and still putting down the power. That kid only knows how to do one thing, and that is take car, make it go fast. And we're seeing that. Look at just how much of the runoff he is using, too, to set his exit for turn 1. Esports line, as it was referred to as here in the 24 hours. Daytona earlier in the season. Looking back at second place, Roger Pierce on the back straightaway right now, going into 3, 54 seconds behind. I think Sean might be able to crack 1 minute over him here. Bob Bergoli with a really good run this evening. Riding around here in 4th. Kind of been sitting there all race. Good performance out of him in that 12 Mustang. It's a quiet one. A day where most people have made some kind of a costly error or gave up a lot of time making a mistake. And he's just, kept it pointing in the right direction, put together a good effort. See him cross the start-finish line there to complete lap 39 down into turn 1. Not as aggressive on the runoff as we've seen out of Conklin. I don't think anybody has been as aggressive with that through turn 1. Because it is very tricky to get up there and find the grip you need to complete the corner here with this new tire. And if you look right there, just out of camera shot and now into camera shot, there's the 07 machine of Tommy Gossett sitting in 5th after the slide. 2 very big slides out of him this evening, but he's done a good job keeping it all together, not making too many more costly mistakes out of that. 5 laps to go, sitting in P5, a race where a lot of guys opted to sit out. It'll be a good point stay for Tommy Gossett if he can just get it around for 5 more rotations.
Absolutely, as he continues to do so. Hits the curbing a little bit there, gathers it back up as here comes Chris Hudson in 6th position. He'll do a great job right there and continue on his way as he hopes maybe for a chance to go and hunt down as Justin Levine's about to catch up to Luke Christians for 7th position. Let's go take a look at this battle.
Justin Levine, just a quiet day out of the Max Tools Camry. Definitely not finding what clicks with him here at the Daytona road course, but putting together a good showing nonetheless, sitting inside the top 10, been here most of the race. Had to climb through a good deal of traffic to get where he is now. And Luke Christian, man, I just gotta say, the amount of struggles he's had with that 3 machine to be able to be putting along here in the top 10 in the closing laps is just oppressive alone.
It really is.
I would have backed that thing into the tires and hit Alt F4 about 25 laps ago.
So you at least made it halfway.
Yeah, but I don't have the grit that Luke Christian has, that's for sure.
As we pick up Tim Wortman right there, continuing on with his run.
Looks like maybe a little bit of an issue out of Wortman here. See what happens. So that's a doozy right there.
Absolutely.
Just way too late into the braking zone, catches the grass, and off she goes up into the Armco barrier, then back onto the track. And I think that may have tore something up underneath the car, because you see him opting to be kind of a snail pace here as lead lap cars start to get to him. The 18 machine here. Now the 25.
25 of
And
Greg
back
Carr.
to the 18. Now the 25. Ooh, piece of candy.
Greg Carr just trying to get home in one piece here. He's 2 laps down, currently sitting P13 as trouble for Tommy Gossett again.
Oh, I thought he was going to smoke the wall there.
He was about to. Let's take a look and see what happened for him. Just trying to send it in by the looks of it a little too deep maybe into the braking zone at the Lamar chicane. Hits the brake zone. Does he hit the curb? Yes, he does.
He didn't quite hit the... Yeah. I think he kind of overstepped the brakes on entry and rifled through the bus stop. But hey, we finally found somebody that can go through the bus stop faster than Sean Conklin. Given I don't think scoring is going to let him keep that, but...
Nope. As here comes Sean Conklin about to put both Levine and Luke Christian a lap down. He is just at the minute mark. He's about to cross 1 minute ahead of Roger Pierce.
That's just insane.
Nope, doesn't do it yet. 3 laps to go. Can he do it?
See him there. There he goes with that wide arc into turn 1, maximizing on his apex.
Lockup.
Huge lockup.
Still
locking up.
In the grass.
That's the first mistake we've seen on him all evening. And yeah, a little quick call back to Chicago road courses our producer alluded to, and I never forget when we come to the road courses, is we have literally seen this guy take a win with the entire front clip removed from the car without losing more than 4 or 5 seconds in the process of it. And that's including toe damage as well. So Sean Conklin on these road courses is just undeniable.
Absolutely, and he's going to continue on his way here in this race as he works his way up through the banking here. And he's at 55 seconds, so he won't probably hit the minute mark before the end of this race, but he tried.
I think the reason he blew the corner is because he was trying to hit that minute mark. He's definitely struggling with the handle, though. Just about looped it coming off of the final chicane there. But the good news is, I mean, he's got a minute worth of cushion. Damn near. You don't really have to worry about doing too much here. Let's throw it up board here for a lap with Sean Conklin. What do you think, Taylor?
Let's go on board here as he comes across the line for 2 laps to go.
And that right there was the penultimate lap on board with Sean Conklin as he comes here to take the white flag for the OB Builders Cup Series here from the Daytona Road Course. Been a day of pure domination out of that 10 machine. Victory 1, definitely bringing a fast piece of machinery here this week. And with a very capable driver behind the wheel. I mean, I don't know how we expected anything less. How about you, Taylor?
I mean, we've expected nothing less from this driver ever since he's joined the series. He has done nothing but put on dominating performance after dominating performance from start to finish as he is trying to put a lap down the drivers of Justin Levine and Luke Christian as they work their way through the kink for the final time over towards the Western Horseshoe.
Working his way through the horseshoe. Smooth sailing from here on out. Just the transition to go and a lot of straightaway and 2 chicanes, and it's home free for Sean Conklin. The machine up here back onto the high banks. Through oval 1 and 2. 54 seconds separating him from Roger Pierce. Not a thing to worry about in the world for the 10 machine.
No trouble whatsoever as he heads to the bus stop chicane for the final time. Just needs to back it down a little bit, survive as Tommy Gossett gets around Paul Bergoli for position. Levine trying everything he can to catch up and get around Luke Christian for 7th.
And into ovals 3 and 4. Good clean lap here. And it's all he's really going to need to seal the deal as he works it into the chicane for the final time. No worry about the lap traffic in front. Plenty of time between him and them out of the final chicane. Checkered flag waving in the air and a seamless drive to victory here. Sean Conklin's going to bring home the hardware after a dominating performance from Daytona.
Absolutely incredible.
We look at Roger Pierce in second. He's got plenty of time separating him and Pasalacqua here. For him as he brings it through the bus stop chicane for the last time. I'll tell you what, for Roger Pierce, this is definitely a run that he was hoping for. Just a nice, quiet day at Daytona. No mistakes out of the 27 machine. Everybody around him is kind of throwing themselves off the cliff at some point, but not Roger Pierce. Consistency is going to pay off as he works through the final chicane. Stay away from the curbs. Learned a lesson from a few people out here, but a good run for him to point that thing into second place. Through the chicane for the final time. The last car on the podium going to be Brandon Pasalacqua. Bringing home third after a little bit of a redemption arc midway through the race. Is Tommy Goss going to be able to get Paul Bergoli over the curbs? Oh, and around goes Tommy. No!
Denied again.
And that one up against the wall. He's going to lose another spot here to Chris Hudson. Tommy Gossett falling to 6th here on the final lap. You know what? 6 ain't a bad place to be, though. After the race he had. Luke Christian and Justin Levine going to bring home 7th and 8th. And I think Conklin's waiting for us to turn the camera on him for his burnout.
I think so, too.
There we go. We got you, Sean. Burn it down. No? Maybe?
Maybe.
Oh, here
there we go.
On demand.
And then he stops.
I think he's realized that there's still cars racing. He doesn't want to just head on into somebody. I guess it is the one drawback of winning a race by damn near a whole lap. Gotta wait about 3 minutes for everybody to get back across the checkered flag and finish it off. See him kind of wiggling the back end here, I guess trying to get the machine to pass post-race inspection.
Mhm.
Yeah, we got the drone cam. We got the drone cam. Come on, the anticipation. Come on, if you don't do it, start doing it in 5 seconds, man. We're going to results. Burn it, Sean.
Nope. Not burning it down.
So we're not burning it down. Oh, out of gas. Either way, bringing it home. P1, Sean Conklin, followed by Roger Pierce. Brandon Passalacqua bringing it home third, followed by Paul Bergoli, Chris Hudson, Tommy Gossett, Lou Christian, Justin Levine, Josh Schaffner, and Tim Wortman Jr. rounding out your top 10.
Alexander Carr will be in 11th, followed by Paul Gilmore or Gallimore in 12th, Greg Carr 13th, Corey Moore 14th, John Bender 15th, Chris Vincent 16th, Alex Coffey 17th, Randy Mullins 18th, Patrick Gitter 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is Joseph Gulata with Evan C. Paul Hill rounding out the rest of the field.
Man, what such a dominating performance, man. I just don't understand how somebody can be that much better than everybody else here. But
Absolutely.
God, Sean was just cooking tonight.
He certainly was, and it was a dominating performance for him.
Anyway, as we wind down here, we're going to start pulling drivers up here for their post-race interview. And looking for Brandon Passalacqua right here. I'm gonna drag him up here for... Oh, hang on. I hate dragging on Discord, it's so bad. Brandon Passalacqua, Sheldon up here in the booth. I've been wanting to interview you for a while here, and finally get the opportunity. Third place after a hard-fought race with a handful of small mistakes. It could have been a lot more costly. Just talk me through it, man. Looks like we're having a little bit of... There we are. Oh, I'll run back through it, man. I dragged you a little preemptively there. But no, man, third place after a race full of a handful of small mistakes, but still being able to stick it out and get the most out of it. Just talk me through it.
Yeah, definitely. It was tough, man, with the update. I usually run my old setups from years past, and I loaded it today. Just got an opportunity to get in the sim a few hours before we loaded into session, and I realized my old setup didn't work. So had to do a lot of adjustments, and then just getting used to the car. I mean, under braking, the car kind of wants to turn and spin out. And then so my goal tonight was just to kind of take it easy and just have a clean race, which I usually do a pretty good job at. But after the pit stop, the grip level obviously was a lot different on new tires. I think the track heated up, and I just made a mistake going out the bus stop. But fortunate enough to get a P3, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of learning tonight.
Yeah, you looked pretty hooked up out there, and you know, with tire wear being the name of the game, and I keyed it up a lot on the broadcast tonight because, you know, I got the opportunity to cover you in ISCA, and it felt like anytime we went to a high wear track, you were definitely well in the mix. But when we kind of make our way past that and get to the tracks where you can really send it and, you know, give a damn about the tires, it felt like you were kind of stuck there, you know, around 5th, 7th. How are you feeling going forward on this new tire? Because it seems like it's going to be like this just about everywhere.
Yeah, I hope it is like this just about everywhere. I'm terrible at running as fast as everyone for 20 laps. I'm most successful when we have long runs, but I will say since this league got started, I thought I had really good long run pace compared to most, and I've been humbled quite a lot since the start of the league. So it still bodes well for me on long run pace and saving tires, but I still have a lot of learning to do, and do a lot of learning from the drivers that we have in here. Everyone's just so good. It's such a high caliber field. So I mean, any week, regardless of tire wear or no tire wear, it's tough just to get a top 10. So we'll take good finishes when we can.
Also, I got to ask, you know, being pretty high up on the totem pole over here for this league, how does it feel to just see how much of a rousing success it has been since the OB Builders Cup Series got its start? Because, you know, I got to cover where you guys started from and, you know, see the final couple implosions that led to where things have worked themselves out now, and it seems like everybody's a lot happier. Just how's it feel, sitting here and looking at these damn near 40 car fields every week?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, a few of us at Paradigm, we wanted to start the league because we just wanted the old school NASCAR, style racing, back in the Winston Cup before the chase, before the playoff system. Like, let's just go out there and run a 200-lap race and see who has the best strategy and the best tempo. So we just wanted to keep it simple, stupid, and we were super surprised once we started the league and Randy started inviting people that, it gained the traction it did. And we're super appreciative of everyone. I think a lot of people on the sim are looking forward to this type of racing. We have there's the official races, but I mean, that's balls out the entire time. And I just don't think that's, this is a different product than that, or at least we're trying to make a different product. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get the finishes I used to for sure, as I did in the other league, but this is much more fun, much more competitive, and a better challenge, and it's something that I look forward to every Thursday.
I'll tell you what, from up here in the booth, I enjoy covering this every week. You guys put on a great show, and it is so much fun just sitting back and watching true racing on iRacing for a change. Not a whole bunch of stupid cautions, no extra cautions added for, 10 points to be given to somebody. Just, who has the best stuff, and whoever's going to make it in the points is going to make it because they put together the best season. So I'm enjoying the luxury of covering that instead of having to go through my notes every 10 seconds to understand who's wearing a playoff bracket. Who scored 5 points at Kansas 3 weeks ago. It's a lot nicer to just have it streamlined to this to this regard.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah, we're trying to make it that way, man. Try to keep it easy as possible, straightforward, and just clean racing.
Well, man, with all those questions out of the way, the final question I got to ask for you this evening is, what do you want to thank and shout out for this third place performance and another successful race out of the Paradigm team here?
Yeah, definitely. Want to give a shout out to my guys at Paradigm, Josh, Randy, and Brian. Josh helped me a lot kind of get up to speed today. Just haven't had the opportunity to get on the sim this week, so putting some time with him really helped me, even though I messed up and crashed at the bus stop. Shout out to Paradigm, OB Builders Door and Trim. They sponsor all of our cars. They've been a huge part of our team for about a year now, and they help us in real life with Randy's late model team and his kids go-karts. So appreciate OB Builders, and then everybody in the league. Everyone's doing a fantastic job. Appreciate everyone being mindful and have respectful racing. We still have competitive racing, but the cleanliness and the respect is what we're looking for. And shout out to obviously Sean, been kicking ass. We need to put a bounty on him going forward. So whoever's out there watching, let's put some money out there and see if we can't beat Sean. But awesome job by him. Good job to Roger as well. Him and I were battling that whole first stint, and it was just a matter of who was going to mess up first, and it was me. So, and then Sheldon, thank you. You do a great job in the booth. You guys do the best job in terms of broadcast. So we appreciate you guys, and I guess I'll stop talking now. Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate being on board, and also I was going to suggest, a bounty, obviously, or an extra couple rails of tungsten might slow the kid down a little bit because he's putting hurting on everybody out here. But anyway, thanks for coming up here and talking with us, and I'm gonna hand it over to Taylor Burris with our second place finisher, Roger Ears Pierced at Claire's. Or sorry, yeah, there we go, something like that.
Well, we are now
Taylor.
joined by the driver of Victory 1, Roger Pierce. Roger, I mean, you got to say, other than the fact you finished second, you were just out there for a Thursday night drive around this track.
Oh, man. Yep. Had beer in my hand, just making laps, 0x, just cruising. No, it didn't. It couldn't get the kink out. I tried.
Well, one thing we got to talk about also is a great points night for you. I mean, what makes you and the Victory 1 crew just so dominant? It's a 1-2 finish for both you and Sean Conklin. A couple of drivers under the Ryko Paran finishing inside the top 10. 4 of you inside the top 10. You guys have it together when it comes to running these cars at this track and every track we go to.
Laps, man. I mean, I think we all do a really good job of just logging laps. Like, we're already started working on Pocono. We've already started, we started Daytona as soon as the update came out. We all worked together to get everything done. And it's a group effort. I mean, Ken and Sean did a lot of work on this because Sean, as you see, doesn't touch grass and can just drive away like nobody's business. I mean, his braking on road courses is just insane. So he set up this car. I mean, we all ran laps to make sure that we could all run it, but props to him and Ken. I mean, they did a excellent job. It's a rocket ship. And I mean, we got road courses coming up, so I'm very excited to see where we go from here.
Absolutely. Roger, anyone you like give a shout out to?
Oh, obviously you guys. We're having fun. NIS, you know. The drink hat, it will be here sometime next week. It will make an appearance. OB Builders, great job. I actually met Brandon, I want to say, in a Sonoma race a couple of years back, and I realized how good of a road course racer he was there. So I had I had a little bit of work to do with him. So good job by them for putting on the league and so getting the support. I mean, you got a lot of top guys in this league, and it's not easy. I mean, it's not. You're having to drive with every bit of pace that you got. Colby Gaming, he told Ken tonight that if I get his car touched, we're gonna fight. So I 0x'd it for him. It's the cleanest car on track, guarantee it. And then Ascent Credit Union, Kat Thompson, and yeah.
Well, that is Roger Pierce finishing in second place here tonight, and of course our great Sheldon Atkins going to talk to our race winner, Sean Conklin.
Yes, and before Roger goes, by the way, is there any chance that we can get the beer drinking hat as a profile shot for the driver card? Because I feel like that would be pretty fitting for the character behind the wheel.
You know, I will. I had a funny one, but we were trying to be professional, so I gave you a good one. But I mean, I got some great goofy headshots that we were trying to avoid using. But I'll get a solid one of that.
Yeah, we don't mind. I mean, heck, we got Austin Edstrom out here running around as a spaceman on Facebook.
Oh, I saw it. I laughed. That was pretty good.
Because he didn't give us anything. We were going to set it up as a photo of him from when he was a kid, and like he put the brakes on that real quick. Yeah, I would poached it off his Facebook. He should probably block me because.
We'll make sure that happens. I got you. This one says America on it, so I might just take a picture with this one, and then we'll do the other one. So.
There we go. If you don't look like the Talladega infield at 2:00 in the morning, then you didn't do it right, Roger. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks for coming up here and talking to us, and we are now going to pull in. I mean, the man that's whooping everybody's butts week in and week out, and man, it's starting to get painful. Sean Conklin. First off, dude, the first question I got to ask you is, what is it that you're doing at these road courses? We watched you drive an absolute boat with the front end and the rear end and everything ripped off it to the victory lane at Chicago last year, and here we are again, and it doesn't look like anybody in the field's gotten anywhere closer. In fact, it feels like you've gotten further away.
I don't know, the thing that I've always done is the opposite of what I do at ovals, kind of. Just push it as hard as I can, and if we wreck the car, we wreck the car. But just tried working on consistency to where we don't do that, and we can just be fast every lap. We did have a little incident with 2 to go. I had 2 goals. I was trying to lap those 2, and I was also trying to get a minute lead. And I wound up choking both of those by overshooting it, but hey, I mean, that's just my driving style, I guess, in these road courses. Just push it to the limit until we destroy it. So it seems to be working most of the time as long as we can stay consistent, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Well, this is obviously going to propel you even further in the championship standings. So we've watched you, I think it was 12th place is what you carved your way to last week after your win. I mean, you're on a 6-race hot streak now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's 5 points races and the All-Star.
Yeah, so we what are we getting, a bounty next week? We getting EOL penalty at the start? Like, where's the fun going to start kicking in?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with anything that they want to do. So I'll keep showing up and racing as long as they let me, and we'll be here.
I tell you what, you put together an absolute heater here this evening, and I've got my curiosities. I know you are a very young talent here on iRacing, and I'm just wondering what is your goal like in the future? I've never actually had the opportunity to ask you that. Like, where do you see yourself, 5-10 years from now? Because I mention it every now and then here on the stream.
Well, I mean, it's everybody's goal, but just NASCAR, really. I mean, Roger's right. I don't touch grass. Racing is pretty much all I've ever known, and it's all that I would like to do. So we're trying to go to the Coke Series here on iRacing at least. Try to make a little bit of a name for ourselves. But the real goal, like in real life, as of now, the short-term goal, which is probably gonna wind up being a long-term goal, is late model Legends racing. Right now we're in carts, and we're finishing top 5 every weekend in those too. It's about the same thing in real life that we have on iRacing. Me and my dad got it. Karting worked down to a science, and we're really competitive there. So yeah, I mean, the goal is to just keep moving up. I feel like I started racing pretty late for nowadays standards, but we're trying to catch up, do the most we can, and try to keep moving up the ranks. But as of now, all we have lined up is trying to make the Coke Series.
Oh, I wouldn't sweat the whole starting late thing, because I mean we got Caruth and Trucks right now who didn't touch a car until I think he was about 15, 16, and I mean Junior didn't get a shot in anything until he was nearly in his 20s. So I wouldn't sweat that too much, man. But on the takeaway on all that, who all do you want to thank for this? I mean, another week, another chance to walk home with hardware. Who do you want to thank for it?
I just want to thank everybody that I thanked last night. I went through the whole spiel of how much work we put in on this setup again, so I'll save that one. It's too many words to describe what goes into these setups each and every week and what's going into the future setups right now. So yeah, again, just a big shout out to them. Sponsors on the car: Gossett, Randy Belt Construction, Davis Technologies, and of course Ryko. And we got Best One on there. So just all those sponsors, all the guys that put in laps every single day pretty much. And yeah, that is about it.
Well, man, one hell of a drive tonight, and congratulations on getting the dub. I'm gonna hand it on over to Taylor Burris over here with his final takeaway here from this evening.
Well, when it comes to racing here at Daytona, nothing can go wrong with racing on the road course, but we see once again domination kicks into overdrive once again, Shelton, as we see Sean Conklin continue his streak of dominance. And I gotta say, probably might be time to put a bounty out on that driver to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely. I mean, the kid is a rocket though, week in and week out. Doesn't matter what track we go to. I've had you and I. We know the level of talent that we've witnessed here on iRacing throughout the years. A lot of them have gone to do bigger, better things in the real world. That ones that come to mind for me would be obviously Hocevar. He came from the open setup side of things, and tell you what, man, I don't think he was ever as good as Sean Conklin is right now. And it's going to be interesting to see what this young man does moving forward, and it's going to be interesting to see what this field does to try and reel him in and bring competition to him, because at the ovals we have seen it getting just a little bit closer week in and week out. So I'm really excited to see what we got coming in next week at Pocono.
Absolutely. So we'll see how this all plays out when we get set to go to Pocono in a week's time. So I'm looking forward to it, and tune in next week here on Grid Vision.
Yes, and as well from the entire Grid Vision team, we'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your lead broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal of Whiplash SimCams for providing the cameras used on today's broadcast. Congratulations to Sean Conklin for another dominating win here tonight from Daytona. This has been Sheldon Atkins. I've been joined in the booth side by side by Taylor Burris, and in the production truck has been Austin Derbyshire. And we will see you next time on the grid.